All right, so the next stimulus package proposal is out and it's called the American Rescue Plan. It is additional stimulus checks, support for small businesses and families. So let's go ahead and go through it. But before we do, if this is your first time at our channel or you haven't subscribed, click on the subscribe button at the bottom. My name is Travis Sickle, Certified Financial Planner, helping you reach your financial goals. Okay, so like always, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up the PDF on the screen and we're gonna go through it. It's gonna be a really quick, or as quick as I can get through it, overview of what's in this proposal. So let's go ahead and pull it up on the screen. So here is the text for the American Rescue Plan. It was actually kind of difficult to find, so I put it on our blog. So if you want to click on the link in the description at the bottom, you can read through this text yourself. So this is going to include funds for vaccinations, relief to families, and support struggling communities. So I've highlighted most of the major points that we're going to go through throughout this PDF. And the first one, of course, is the additional stimulus check of $1,400. And that is in addition to the $600 that you probably already received. But if you didn't, when you file your taxes, you're going to get the full $2,000 per person. And then we're going to have additional relief to the hardest hit small businesses, which we already have going for that second round of PPP that just started this week to apply for. And then here we have investing $20 billion in a national vaccination program in partnership with state, localities, tribes, and territories. So there's a ton of support for the rollout of the vaccination, but not just that. It's also going to support the schools. It's going to support the communities and, of course, all of the healthcare workers in addition to the rollout. And if you are infected, additional treatments that they're trying to roll out. So the next section here is the president-elect's plan invests $50 billion in a massive expansion of testing. And it also will have 100,000 public healthcare workers. So it's going to have a fund to support additional jobs. And according to this, it says nearly tripling the country's community health roles. So it's quite an impact. And then they're going to have the funding to provide health services for underserved populations. Of course, long-term care facilities that were hit pretty hard. It says right here, long-term care residents and workers account for almost 40% of all U.S. COVID-19 deaths. So there's going to be targeted support for those facilities. And then we're also going to have, scrolling down here, investing $30 billion into the disaster relief fund to ensure sufficient supplies to protective gear and provide 100% federal reimbursement for critical emergency response resources to states, local governments, and tribes, including deployment of the National Guard, and an additional $10 billion investment in expanding domestic manufacture for pandemic supplies. So I know we were importing some of those supplies, but now they're going to have an additional $10 billion to make it right here at home. And they're looking for more effective treatments. That's what I was talking about before. Additional resources if you are infected for the treatment of COVID-19. And let's go ahead and scroll down further. This is going to be for schools. So providing $170 billion to schools for K through 12. And it looks like they're also going to target K through 8 schools to get them reopened and help with additional child care as well. So $130 billion is going to be allocated to help schools safely reopen, reducing class sizes. That's how they're going to do it. Reducing class sizes and modify those spaces to reduce the spread. And then we're going to have additional $35 billion in funding directed to public institutions, including community colleges, as well as public and private historically Black colleges and universities and other minority-serving institutions. This will work out, what it's saying here, is to an additional $1,700 in financial assistance from their colleges. That's what the breakdown is. So $35 billion, what is it going to do for you? $1,700 in additional financial assistance. $5 billion in funds for governors to use to support educational programs. And then we're going to have providing emergency paid leave to 106 million more Americans to reduce the spread of the virus. So they're going to have additional paid sick leave, but the important part that if you're a small business owner, that you're going to want to know, that this is going to be reimbursed 100%. I'm looking for that. We'll probably find it in a second. And then we're going to see providing an additional 14 weeks of paid sick and family and medical leave to help parents with additional caregiving responsibilities. And then it's going to also give the maximum paid sick leave benefit of $1,400 per week for eligible workers and reimburse employers with less than 500 employees for the cost of this leave. So right here it says will reimburse employers for 100%. That's what I was looking for. 100% of the cost of this leave. So they're going to require it, but you can also get 100% reimbursement on it. And I think that's going to be in the form of a credit. And extend emergency paid leave measures until September 30th, 2021. And then we're going to give working families a $1,400 per person check to help pay their bills. So that's the stimulus check. And that was, they're calling the $600 as the down payment. So it's going to be a total of $2,000 and expanding eligibility. So I highlighted it right there. Expand eligibility to adult dependents. So that last stimulus check didn't include adult dependents. And that was all in a lot of proposals, but that didn't occur. And now it looks like it's being proposed to occur. And then an additional $400 per week in unemployment insurance to the hardest hit workers. And that is going to go through September of 2021. So that is quite an extension with a little bit of a boost in unemployment benefits. Keep on scrolling down. And then we have the extend the eviction and foreclosure moratorium and continue applications for forbearance on federally guaranteed mortgages until September 30th, 2021. And then an additional $30 billion in rental and critical emergency and water assistance. An additional $25 billion in rental assistance to provide much needed rental relief. $5 billion to cover home energy and water costs. Basically your utilities. So that's going to be an additional support. And again, there's a handful of other benefits in here. I'm just going over the high level overview of some of these benefits. And here, which I thought was kind of a little bit more controversial than anything, but raising the minimum wage to $15 per hour. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of raising the minimum wage to $15 per hour and end the tipping minimum wage. So that could be a big deal, a quick change. A lot of states have moved to $15 or some areas. And then also there are some areas that are moving towards $15. So this would immediately boost it to $15 per hour and ending the tipping minimum wage. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of effect that has on people earning $15 or less than $15 minimum wage. It'll be interesting. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. And then expanding access to high quality, affordable child care. So they're going to put a ton of money towards that, helping the hardest hit child care providers by creating a $25 billion emergency stabilization fund, and then expanding this investment with an additional $15 billion in funding. And then here's where it gets interesting for families. We're expanding the child tax credits to go from $4,000 for one child or $8,000 for two children. That's the child care tax credit, not the child tax credit. This is the child care tax credit. So that is what you're paying for child care. So you can get that reimbursed. And if we go down here, the child tax credit, which is currently $2,000 per child, it looks like this proposal is going to bump it to $3,000 per child or $3,600 for children under 6. Wow. And make 17-year-olds qualifying children for the year. That is quite a boost there for both of those, the child care and the child tax credit. That is quite a boost. And let's see what else we have here. And then providing grants to more than 1 million of the hardest hit small businesses. A little bit less clear exactly how this is going to get distributed, but this is for targeted small businesses. And then $175 billion in low interest loans and venture capital to help entrepreneurs, including those in the clean energy sector. Again, a little unclear exactly how that's going to be distributed, but it will be interesting to see that additional support. And that is pretty much a wrap for what I'm going to go over. But again, I'm going to leave a link in the description in the bottom to this text if you want to read through some of the other points. And if there's something I didn't go over, that you want to know more about, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll do it on a future video, get a little bit more in depth. But this text just came out, so it could get reworked. Some things could be added, removed, or adjusted. So we really don't know what it's going to look like just yet, but we will keep an eye on it. But that would be a big deal for a lot of families out there that are struggling to get an additional stimulus check, additional support, and of course, the child care and the child tax credit for families with children that is also getting expanded to the check to include adult dependents. So helping out all the families across the United States. And that is the American Rescue Plan. Going through it really quickly, high level overview. This is just a proposal at this point, hasn't been introduced into Congress. So we'll just wait and see what happens, but things can move really quickly. And of course, I'll keep you updated. And if you've enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe and leave your comments down at the bottom.